This week on Xenomania, we talk about one of the hottest movies of 2026. When a lovelorn young man makes a wish, hoping his crush will love him more than anyone else. It works, and for a moment, it seems like his dream has come true. But as her free will evaporates, obsession grows into insanity and terror. Can Bear escape his self inflicted torment? We'll find out in this spoiler heavy episode. Additionally, we play Slasher Stash, and no one will slash a favorite director's entire filmography, right? This is Obsession. This is Xenomania, and we all know better than to break a one wish willow. I think.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Right with your mustache. It's very 70s biker, leather hat biker.
Yeah. Were you just enthralled with arm wrestling? Like, did you decide you were going to enter a tournament and you must win it despite Lincoln Hawk needing to get his son back in his life?
That was the goal. But it didn't end up that way this week.
Listeners, John and I think that Ryan's mustache might be a little over the top. That's all we're saying. We're not talking about that movie tonight. We're talking about Obsession.
Yeah. The modern obsession, the current obsession in our society.
Which
Which
is
is us and Ryan's mustache.
I was
No.
gonna say with just the movie. The movie is everyone's obsessing, not to put a pun on it, over this movie because it's written well, good characters, great filmography, cinematography. The editing, I learned today, Curry Barker, who directed and wrote this film, edited the film too. And that takes a lot because editing, you can, like, especially when it's your baby, you wanted to make it as perfect as apple pie. And he does that because I feel like, what? What's wrong with apple
Is
pie?
apple pie perfect?
I
It-
actually wasn't
it
going to
can
jump on
be.
that one, but
It can be perfect. We just got to tell your mom we ate it. But, with Obsession, what, no
Don't you
American
talk
Pie
about my mom.
reference?
Don't you talk about my mom like that.
talk about another man's mom's apple pie. Talk about that. That mustache has got you acting all kinds of crazy.
It's an American Pie reference. Thank you very much. But
Oh, that is an American Pie reference. He's right. He's right.
come on now, how did
It
movie
is.
connection? But he does excellent with the editing. Like the cuts are very well put together. It doesn't slow. It's a very quick pace film, and I like it.
That's something that pulls you in right away is the pacing of it. You get the immediate issue with Bear right off the jump. And they do a good job unveiling it. The little twist with the waitress and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. And you meet Ian, you meet the whole cast pretty quickly, actually. It's like
Yeah.
the next scene you meet what's the other girl's name?
Sarah.
Sarah. You meet Sarah the next scene in the bar. But yeah, they get it rolling well. You get the lay of the land, and I enjoyed kind of the cuts, how they paced it, that they didn't linger on anything too long, and jumped sort of right into it.
He established everything quickly, which is, I don't want to say it's unique for today's filmmaking, but I feel like certain horror films that we've watched recently where it's like that slow build to acclimate us to the world. This was just like, this is the world. Here we go. It's very, we were talking about how he does a sketch comedy called That's a Bad Idea on YouTube. It's very like YouTube-y, if that makes sense. Or
It makes perfect
like,
sense.
like get into it,
It's that's a good way to put it. It's very modern in that it's paying attention to the fact that people don't in a movie like this especially, people don't want to linger around. We need the scenes to shift. We need to continue the motion so we don't lose our attention. And even as a 42-year-old who lived before this kind of life, I'm becoming like that as time goes on. I'm fighting it, but I've noticed it.
Keep up the good fight.
Yeah.
I appreciate a film that does it. I don't think it has to always be that way. I like the
Agreed.
slow burns a lot,
Yes.
but this
Well,
didn't even have to be.
Ryan just mentioned Pan's Labyrinth, and that's a movie where you have to settle in. pay attention
Mhm.
and just immerse yourself in it. It's not necessarily going to whisk you away here and there and everywhere right away and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And why are we talking about Pan's Labyrinth again, Bull Hurley?
We're talking about Pan's Labyrinth because, ironically, I have an obsession with movies, as we all do, and I didn't realize how many Guillermo del Toro films I have in my collection.
What's that guy's name again?
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Like a bad Guillermo when you're driving to work and the sun's low and you're like, Guillermo.
Guillermo.
That-
Come on. Guillermo del Toro. I didn't realize I had
You get
so
the
many.
vowel in there. You could say Guillermo.
I just didn't realize how many films I've had, and we've been talking for so long now, about a year since Frankenstein, Pan's Labyrinth, and it just shocked me how many movies are in my library, and I didn't even know.
Oh, that he had made.
Oh God, yeah. The only one I'm really
Yeah.
missing is Kronos, and that has a beautiful Criterion collection.
He
Available at
I
Barnes
would
and Noble,
love to
50%
have
off.
all Criterions of his work would be
Hey.
chef's kiss.
They're all
I
Criterion.
think almost all of them are.
Not
The
Frankenstein
Hellboys, I
yet,
don't
right?
think are.
Hellboy and
Frankenstein's
Oh.
October.
Pacific Rim isn't.
Frankenstein in October. Pacific Rim isn't.
Yeah, that's right. He goes
Um,
into the action stuff. I mean, it's like serious work, not a sellout work.
Is Kronos though? Kronos is serious, but it's
I
I
think
feel
it's
like
serious.
that's his first film. But was The Relic ever a part of the Criterion collection? Is it The Relic or The Mimic?
I was gonna say the Relic isn't
He's
Guillermo del
Mimic.
Toro.
The Mimic.
Maybe.
Sorry,
no,
I
somebody
always flip those.
somebody else just put Mimic out on 4K. Maybe Kino Lorber. Somebody else put it out within the last 3 or 4 months.
Nice shout out for the Relic, by the way. We should do the Relic.
Oh,
Or did
that's
we
so
We
already?
should do
good.
the
No.
Relic.
We should.
I enjoyed the Relic, and Tom Sizemore carries that movie, and that's not normal. It's not normal, and it's a good movie.
It's weird because it's at a time where The Mimic did come out at the same time, and I think the conversation
around
was, what was the better
Yes.
movie, The Relic or The
Yes.
Mimic? And I feel like, I don't know,
think The
I feel,
Relic's better.
yeah, I was gonna say it's close. It's
I think the Relic's
close.
better. Yeah, 'cause the people who start getting got in that museum, you want them to get
Well,
got
yeah.
too. That's also kind of it
Yeah,
makes it a little bit more
yeah.
fun. Who's that? Diane? Not Diane Keaton. What's her name?
Oh,
She bangs the president in that movie too.
yes.
Lane? Diane Lane?
I wish, dude. Diane Lane was. Oh my God, she was my older woman obsession forever.
Let's see here. Tom Sizemore,
Um,
Penelope Ann Miller, Linda Hunt, James Whitmore.
That's
Claire
her.
Boner.
isn't it?
Linda Hunt? I
I think it's her.
don't think
No,
she was
it
doing
It's
what you were.
probably
Oh,
Penelope Ann Miller.
there's a
I was
20.
gonna
There's
say.
a 2021 that's messing me up. Yeah. Why is there a 1997? What are you doing to me?
How dare they
Where
make a
is she?
sequel?
Penelope Ann Miller.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, everybody, back to Obsession.
Back
So,
to Obsession.
this movie got everybody going because of Freaky Nikki and how well the actress plays Freaky Nikki. The onset of her is super well done. So I don't think we should need to explain to the listeners generally how that happens. You should have seen Obsession. If you didn't, definitely watch it before listening to this.
Yeah,
But when he
we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie over the next hour. If you have not watched it, stop now.
We're going to
Just stop
start
now.
right now spoiling it. So when he makes the wish, and we'll save the fact that he's such an idiot for having to make the wish in the car in that moment. She comes right back. It happens immediately.
Yes, but she's standing under the dark silhouette of the light under her porch, just staring at him. I feel like it was what if Seinfeld went horror with the two-faced one? But
That didn't do it for you?
no, I feel like it was it's nostalgic because you go into these go into Spencer's, right? And they had all the gag stuff, and then you would see something like that. And you were like, will it work as a kid? And then you get older, it's that's not real. And it kind of,
They nail that a couple times in this movie, though, Bull.
oh yeah.
They do. I don't want to argue with you because I don't want you to rip my arm off, but there's a few scenes. You're right about that one. That one's a little what's going on? But the scenes where she's Freaky Nikki in the house and she walks backwards into the shadows and stuff and does that freaks me out. If my wife did that, I'd
Or
probably
watching you
abandon
while
the
you're
children.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, the
that also
scene
is
with the flower pot in front of her face isn't her. that's a dancer that they hired to do that because he wanted like specific moves that Indian Everett wasn't probably going to be able to do.
Oh, and
So he wanted
interesting.
that more like fluid motion.
Cool. That's a cool bit
Yeah.
of trivia.
There's a there's some cool trivia around this too. I have another pretty cool one too. So
Let's hear it.
the four main characters all work in a music shop.
Which was neat.
That music shop is Cassell's Music in California,
Okay.
which is the same music store from Wayne's World.
Oh, cool.
That is
Yep.
cool. All right. Is there a
That's cool.
connection? Are we doing a
I
connection
say,
right now?
Diner?
I mean,
They're
I
in
mean,
the one
if
where Sam Neill's the diner guy.
yeah, if Lee
Oh, I
Cronin
said
had
Sam
made
Neill.
this,
I
yeah,
meant
it's the same universe.
Paul, what is his name? Al Bundy, whatever his name is. Not
Oh,
Sam Neill.
Ed,
R.I.P.
Ed,
Sam Neill, by the way.
Ed O'Neill.
We're on it. Ed O'Neill, right? Yeah, Sam Neill was on my mind. Yeah, that's super cool, John.
Yeah, I stumbled on that today. I thought that was pretty cool.
There was
Good
no
thing to stumble on.
no stairway to heaven though in this film, guys. Sorry
No.
about that.
No, nor it was
I,
supposed to be.
I mean, there are some trips to heaven, but
Yeah, and boy, do they go there the hard way. All right.
we'll get to
So
that.
yeah, the onset of Freaky Nikki kind of starts this movie off where you get the tone and tenor of it, and you realize kind of like what you're in for, and that was cool.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
cool.
I really like those moments right after he makes that wish where you know it's working. Bear kind of knows it's working, but Nikki is clueless to what's going on. It's like she went from, going home after being driven home by this kind of dorky guy who she may or may not be interested in at all. And now all of a sudden she's just drawn to him.
Right. Drawn is and it's also weird in the beginning, almost like the whatever Freaky Nikki is getting its bearings in the beginning, because she's sort of like half in, half out.
Yes.
Gets up, walks away, like, what's happening? What did I do? And then she comes back again.
Mhm.
Gets real funky.
So I would imagine what that is that the longer you're under the control of the wish, the further away from yourself you get.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And Bear begins to notice something's off relatively early. Because it's impossible not to notice something's off relatively early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
no,
you're-
it came through.
Yeah, the motorcycles. All right, just
Sure
want to make
did.
sure.
That's okay. It works with your whole theme tonight.
Your gang's here for you.
Yeah, exactly. They're ready to ride, buddy. But yeah, Bear notices something's off relatively early, and he's not even remotely interested in dealing with it or changing the setup at all.
Because he got what he wanted. He got her full attention, even to the point where, like, he's like, you say he's weird, he's awkward, and you can see that he notices that something's wrong. But and this is where I start disliking the character, is like, he still goes through with it. And it's like, even though, like, you love her, like, if you love her so much, when you want to kind of help her, and no, he's just like, yeah, but he's like 50-50. And then when he tries to make a move, that's when she screams in her face. And that's when I first like jump in the film too.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a big jump scene.
Like, yeah.
You do have sort of these moments where he's in very early on where he's not sure and like, he doesn't want to, that first night, he doesn't want to do anything that feels like he'd be taking advantage. He's sort of trying to keep Nikki at arm's length, even though it's exactly what he wanted. And then like he sort of feeds her an excuse of being, on substances and chemicals the night before. So she's able to latch onto that as a temporary excuse for how she behaved.
Right.
But he knows.
Yep. He definitely knows. And we'll talk more, like I said, about Bear being literally incapable of closing, even when she's in Freaky Nikki mode for a while. A little bit later, but John, we're saying.
Like I understand his initial compulsion. Like I'm a person who always struggled with that kind of thing too. And I definitely like wish that someone would love me, but like not.
Aw,
We love you,
we
John.
love you.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable in it now.
Oh,
But
yeah, we know.
there
When
was
you were young.
like I think this people who know me sort of forget how, reserved I am when I first meet people. So
That's
I
true.
definitely
Yep.
understand where Bear is
Okay.
to start. To
Right.
start
Or to say
for
start.
about
Keyword.
for a couple minutes. Then
Yeah, they move on from that.
you immediately recognize that he needs to do something and he's unwilling and, maybe incapable of doing it.
Yeah. And but he isn't unlikable in this realization yet, but he's on his way to being unlikable in this realization when you're watching the movie. But you're sort of so enthralled with what's happening with Nikki at that point that you're not really paying attention so much to what Bear's doing in this situation until a little bit later. But what initially does make Bear a lot more unlikable, and I'm not sure if they did it for this reason, is when he inadvertently murders his cat. And we're gonna have to touch
Negligence.
on that.
Negligence.
Yeah, we
Don't
have
listen
to
to
touch
him.
on
Ellie,
because
earmuff it for me.
Earmuffs.
this was almost the shortest a movie was on our calendar
Yeah,
because
I was worried about that.
it literally almost got shut off within 5 minutes when he comes home and the cat is dead on the floor.
You were really gonna
And
shut it off?
Yeah, he was bad.
100%,
Well, we were goading
100.
him on a bit, Ryan, by saying the second half's really good, and it does wrap that part up eventually. But it does get worse
That's
before it gets
the
better.
Well, yeah.
that's the only reason I stuck it out. That and that you guys had already watched it. And I was like, didn't want to waste you guys' time, so I forced
It's
my way
We
nice.
through it. And
appreciate it.
I ended up liking it. But to me, it's the only flaw in this movie. They didn't have to do it.
I don't
I
understand
firmly
why.
I firmly I well,
To show he's
let me
negligent
let
and
me
doesn't have his
let me
life?
let me start there. Like, because
Okay.
I think there's a few things they did. It gives sort of an immediate normal thing for Freaky Nicky to latch onto in the sympathy for his dead cat.
Okay.
So it gives that. It gives immediately shows you that Bear is incapable of caring for things. He's
Yeah.
irresponsible. That's sort of how he then carries on into his relationship with her. And it also establishes that he has oxys in the house. And
Yeah.
that's going to be
Great.
super important later on. That said, you could have done all of that without killing a cat.
Yep.
You don't have to
Yep.
do it. It's so. I was talking about this with Allison because obviously she didn't watch Obsession with me. Once I told her about the cat, that was
Yeah.
it. Like, but we he, that's not really you didn't like. But we were talking about how there are some movies that really does serve the plot, like John Wick.
Right. You need the
Yeah.
dog to go.
You need the dog needs to die so he has something that he's that passionate about to come out of retirement and
Yep.
go on that spree.
Right.
The Evil Dead remake, however, you didn't have
No.
to do it.
No.
The
And I
shock value ones are pissing me off. I agree.
yeah. And I mean, Obsession sort of walks that line of being a shock one.
Yes.
Like, it's one of the real first defining traits of Bear is knowing that he has a cat, and then it's immediately dead on screen.
Yeah.
And
And
I
he
don't like
uses
it.
it.
Just
It's a plot builder.
yeah.
Thinking about it.
He also leverages it to try to get her sympathy
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
Nikki's still regular Nikki. And I also thought that was incredibly lame.
Mhm.
Oh, it was poor how he delivers it too, and Ian's over his shoulder, just
Yeah,
poking
Ian
the poking the
sabotages
bear.
him lightly. What we find out later about Ian, and we don't need to keep it a secret now, is that he's sleeping with Nikki on and off.
Yep.
Is that he is quietly sabotaging Bear a little bit in that bar scene. If you watch closely, and can
Right.
recognize the beats of something like that, you're like, oh shoot, okay. Later on, making it so that he's another character who's very unlikable.
Yes.
Yes.
The men in this movie are pretty hard to like.
Are hard to like. Also, just not to wrap up the cat just yet, we also didn't need to drag it out and have her
Mhm.
prepare the cat as a meal,
Mhm.
with
We
with
didn't
the
and also
fur
set up
still intact.
a ritual for
Yeah, we
the
didn't
cat
need the
was also
ritual.
powerful.
We didn't need the meal. Like
The Hey
you could
Arnold
you
ritual.
could have you could have sort of established all those things without it
Yeah,
being centered around a dead animal. And listen,
agreed.
cats in particular, because I mean it's pretty well established that I live with cats. I share a house with cats. I definitely don't own cats. If anything, they own me. But
But if you get into the idea of her like losing herself and maybe a little bit of part of her still in it, and that's where her certain glitches happen with the screaming and the reactions and realizing she's not where she wants to be. Maybe she did it out of spite. She
ah,
realizes that the cat, the death of the cat hurts him. He made the mistake. It's his fault. He's got to own it. And then,
mm,
okay, I'm gonna feed you the cat. You are having me go through this wish. I'm gonna feed you the cat. I'm gonna make it like a little shrine for it. I'm gonna torment you,
mhm.
you know. And I mean, I feel like that connects later on when we talk about what else she goes through. I think that's her trying to make him feel guilty and feel bad and putting him through his own torment for making this great wish.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
that's that. I mean, but she also additionally, like, aside from just being under his spell at that point, she is like mentally falling apart because I read Curry Barker said that the real Nikki is in kind of a purgatory during while she's under. And that kind of makes sense. And like she has moments of lucidity, fewer and fewer as the movie goes on,
Yeah.
until like basically it's only when she's unconscious that she's herself anymore.
It's super cool
It's
later on in the movie when she speaks to him. But that's almost like they're done flirting with the idea or making us think it all. They just reveal that
Yep.
Nikki is trapped and Bear is now fully aware that Nikki is in pain
I had to
and he
rewind
has
that scene a
that was a
couple
mhm.
good scene.
times. I rewound it 2 or 3 times because I just wanted to hear what she was saying. And I was like, no way they're doing this. And I was like, okay, it's cool.
Okay. Okay. Um,
You have a game
hey,
for us.
I was gonna say, John, you got a game?
Of course I have a game. It's another slasher stash with devastating consequences again.
Can we just do a blind ranking if it's so devastating?
Nope. Nope.
Damn, damn.
I'm going to tell you, if you slash a movie on this list, you have slashed the entire director's filmography.
Uh, three and
It's three and
five.
five, 3 and 5. But if you guess the theme, I'll give you an extra stash. So we'll start with
We can't say
another Blum,
possession.
Well, no, it's
another
Can't say
Blum,
possession.
another Blumhouse movie. Get Out is our first one.
hold on. Is that a guess, Kearns?
No.
No, he said he can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are
Because
you
I was gonna
trying? What
say
are you trying to take his stash away
Because
already?
no, no, no. I was gonna
it,
say top 5 comedy people in comedy to horror directors.
No,
Basic. No, damn it.
no. Do you want me to take a save stash away?
yeah. That was definitely a
That
guess.
was definitely a guess. Oof. Ryan, I hope you ultimately get this right.
Yes, me too.
All right.
You're messing up my top 5 tonight.
Oh
Get
no.
Out is your first movie. Well, if Get Out is in your top 5, you better stash it.
It's not, but
I have
like
to word it
you get
properly
rid
because
of everything.
possession's not the right word. I'm trying to help you now, Ryan. Possession's not the right word, but we see what it is. And the next movie will solidify what it is, I'm sure. But
I think it
I might have to
will.
slash Get Out. I enjoyed Get Out quite a bit. It was a phenomenon when it launched, and that's fine. But
Not
I
dissimilar
wasn't in
from the
love.
the obsession phenomenon, by the way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wasn't in love with I watched it and I was like, oh, what a mediocre film.
I
Yeah,
thought I
these
thought it was good. I liked it. I got to it too late though.
Oh, that might be it. We weren't in the whole
Yeah.
scrum of it. Yeah.
Yeah, by the time I got to it, it was a huge hype machine.
Mhm.
Ryan,
That
did you
makes
say?
sense.
Did you answer?
No, because this is gonna because it gets rid of his whole filmography. That really because that's why I said comedy to horror directors because Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind getting rid of his whole filmography. Two of his
Yeah.
movies are the same movie, and then Nope was really enjoyable, but also not wonderful.
You know what? I'm gonna
Nope.
slash.
Nope is my favorite.
I'm
Yeah, Nope is
slash.
the best out of
Slash.
all of them.
Yeah, I have a
The
backup.
agenda in Nope isn't nearly as like overpowering for the
Mhm.
movie, and not to be like, oh, you know, like 1 star. I don't like the agenda. People who are different than me suck. No, not like that. It's just that when you're watching a horror movie and there's very clear racial agenda involved in it with a not so hidden message about it, which is fine. Like, I don't disagree with the message. It's just it takes me out of the movie. I'm gonna slash Get Out.
You
I
prefer
just talked myself
subtlety.
into it. Yeah, I do. I like when they
Yeah.
make me work for it a little bit, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. All right. Movie number 2. Let's see if you guys are thinking anything close to where this is going. Movie number 2 is Fright Night,
Oh, stash.
one of our early shows.
Maybe it is the P word. Am I gonna outright guess it? I don't know. I mean,
Is it
Get
though?
Out though. Get Out is not possession. It's not. There's like body swapping. So
Is
that
Fright Night really possession?
no. Ryan, are you gonna take this or am I gonna try it out? Because I might get it.
Oh no, I'm
I'm
not
kind
taking.
of teeing you up.
I'm not taking any chances because I already got.
No risk.
I'm changing my top 5 right now, which is comedy to horror directors, and I had to get rid of Jordan Peele. Yeah, it was Us, so that's why I'm working right now. So yes, I'm
Wowzer.
stashing Fright Night.
Wowzer.
These damn
I
rules.
don't know if I can get rid of Fright Night.
There's
It's so
some very
hard.
good
I'm gonna
reasons.
stash Fright Night. We did this movie. We enjoyed this movie. I'm
We
gonna stash
did.
it.
All right. Let's see what you think of movie 3, which is
I'm
Hellraiser.
Stash. I'm done now.
Boy,
done.
Ryan, I hope you guess this real quick here. I mean, I can't take a save away, a stash away from you at this point, so you might as well just shoot a guess if you have one.
That's a good point, Ryan. You have nothing to lose now.
You're on house money with this guess.
Oh shit. It's games. It's puzzles. It's puzzle games. Making the wish. You open the box. You play the rules.
Get it? Did he get it, John?
No.
I'm describing it.
Because there's
though.
nothing like that in Fright Night, though.
No. There's not a lot of that in Get Out either.
Get Out has the people getting swapped,
Yeah.
and then in Fright Night, what are, like, the
Hypnosis?
gimps? What are, like in Fright Night? What is it that he does? He does charm people. I'm not confident enough to
you guys-
actually guess.
Yeah, you guys are nowhere near.
Okay, we're gonna just keep rolling along. I'm gonna have to. How do I slash Hellraiser? I only have 2 left, and we have like what, 5 movies left?
5 after this, yep. And
Yep.
I know where it goes. It's gonna get real rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to slash Hellraiser. I like Hellraiser, but I'm not like you guys. I don't like Hellraiser.
All right. Number 4, which, unless Ryan guesses right, he has to slash, is House of a Thousand Corpses.
That's an easy slash for me.
That's a slash.
I hate Rob Zombie
I
in
just
movies anyway.
like Halloween. I'll have a flag for Halloween, but everything else I can't. I'm Lords of Salem. Lords of no.
They all sort of fall short. Like they have things that almost work, but ultimately he falls short every time. I think Devil's Rejects is as close as he got for me.
And that one I tried to walk out of, but I was there with a friend, so I had to stick it out. Devil's Rejects really didn't do it for me.
Are these career changers?
You're closer. You're closer.
Oh.
All right.
Well, now you
next.
can't just start barking them out to just get your last stash.
He gave me the opportunity.
Number 5,
Stash.
Night of the Living Dead.
Absolutely stashing Night of the Living Dead.
Good gosh, Ryan.
It sucks, buddy.
Sorry,
Too bad
man.
you'll never watch this again.
Or Annie Romero.
Or
Or
It's a
Annie
lie.
Romero. You have to send that Day of the Dead set back.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
gonna be
exist
cool.
anymore.
If
That's
on our
gonna
honor,
happen.
we actually had to not watch these until we somehow made it right on another game, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't.
No, we won't do that.
Don't do
We
that.
won't do that.
I got a lot I gotta watch here, man.
Oh, not Night of the Living Dead because it doesn't exist in your
Yeah,
world
that's
anymore.
not going to happen for you.
Hey, listen, time travel.
I mean, this is going to get more painful for him, too. All right, next movie.
I only have one left.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, this is
That was-
bait. This one's bait. I think I already slashed this once.
I
Yes,
think
you
you may
did.
have.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to do it again just because it's the least risky. But I love this movie. The fact that John does this to us is torturous.
Bull, do you have a guess at the theme?
Nope. Not losing my
I
last
said-
slash, buddy. Oh, bull.
I said bull. Bull.
Well, oh no, I'm trying. I'm trying to think like because you said career change, but I can't like.
I mean, your career changes in the. You are at least on the right side of the camera now.
Oh, directors with other motifs, other careers,
Just so you know, you're not getting your stash back if you do get it right. You're just throwing stuff at the wall.
Don't
seeing
you
what sticks.
Don't you start.
Nope.
Don't
Putting
you
my
start.
foot down.
Don't you
You're
start.
so close. Oh well, next one.
Damn.
Last House on the Left.
Ooh.
Oh,
This isn't the
bait?
last one, is it? We have one
No.
more, right?
I believe there's one more. Yes.
Un
One
más.
more.
Una
Last
más.
House on the Left. Sorry, Ryan.
There's gotta be a way to reset this damn universe.
There goes.
I mean-
there goes.
Probably with every
The
new
in-
season.
He said no.
Every single Wes Craven movie is gone for you now.
We should do that every season. It resets.
Thank you.
Yeah, we might
Thank
have
you.
to because Ryan's not going to have
Agenda.
any of his favorite things left.
Nope,
I swear
all
to
of them are
God,
gone.
you put John Carpenter at the end. Don't you do it.
This movie, I can't believe this movie had a theatrical release.
Not
Right?
that big. Not that big though. But
No, I mean,
this
I'm
a-
sure the rumors got out.
Is this a slash for you too, Karens?
Yeah, I gotta slash it. I
this,
gotta see what you got last.
this is one of the hardest
All
games
right.
in a while.
I mean, you haven't had to make a decision in like 5 movies, man.
Yeah, it's been
I
kinda
know
easy for you.
that's the problem. The problem. I shot
Last one.
Oh,
Sorry,
cool.
Ryan.
All right. Nice. I made the right choice here. Stash, please. All right. So what's going on
the
here?
directors who retired.
Right? This is
You
possession
have-
too, though, but at least like I guess they all kind of have that theme anyway.
You got so close there eventually. These are directorial debuts.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
shnikes.
It was too simple.
Yep, it was right
That
there.
was,
the
a
whole
Ryan
time.
one. Yeah, that one was teed up for you.
It was
I would've
right
never
there
gotten
the
that
whole
one.
time.
It's fine.
That was fun.
You know what? I kept Hellraiser.
I like that one.
It was fun to watch everybody squirm a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you get to watch the other 3 Clive Barker movies.
Yeah.
Nightbreed.
Nightbreed.
He didn't
All
direct or write Hellraiser 2, though. I always thought he did. He didn't do that. He produced it. He produced.
Lord of Illusions.
Yep.
Couldn't get a little money to get lazy. I'll
There's-
make some money on these.
Mhm. Yep.
Produce it. All right, so let's
Yep.
talk about why Bear's a giant cuck in this movie. Let's just get right back into Obsession. It's the most aggravating part of the movie for me is that he has every opportunity to talk to her and he does this squeamish, weenie sort of, you can, I could never ask her out, but I'm in love with her. But, And it pervades his personality for so long.
Yeah, that is his personality. He's ineffective. He is largely incapable. I mean, you meet Nikki and she has dreams. She wants to write. She's got, and Bear's just there.
It's a lame-o.
He's comfortable, if you
He's
can say it.
incapable. Yeah, that's how you describe him and being happy with his job and stuff like that. Like he doesn't want money, he wants Nikki. And I agree, he's definitely comfortable there. But the aspect of his personality where he can't do anything that's difficult or scary is, especially as pertains to her, it sucks so hard. Even when she's freaky Nikki and he's trying to figure out how to deal with it, the way he deals with it is just awful.
He's very socially awkward, as we keep saying. It just he
You're
doesn't
giving
know.
him outs. You're giving him nice guy
Yeah,
outs.
Well, no,
yeah, you are.
it's not.
I
It's
don't
not.
like it.
Hold on.
I don't like it.
Hold on. He's definitely not a nice guy. This is the first time watching a film in a while that I disliked the main character. I don't like Bear. From the start, you kind of, like we said, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, but then once you see the cat death, the negligence, him
Mhm.
just like not being able to like be normal, I can say, and
Mhm.
it's just making everything
So
worse. It's just like, fuck, man.
yeah,
Sorry, I had to drop the
and
bar.
I mean, how long is it from when he has the realization, okay, this is the wish? I don't even know if she actually loves me or if she loves me because I wished for this, to calling the company, the One Wish Willow company, to ask about it, to then not act on that until
Yeah,
it gets really bad.
that would have definitely red flagged for me. Even denial wouldn't have been enough to make me ignore that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's given outs for a while, even as she's getting progressively crazier and more dangerous. And he's clearly not comfortable with it. He's still going with it.
yep, because he doesn't want to lose it.
Yep.
He didn't even see it, and he's very uncomfortable with it. And they make sure to put in a scene where he's sleeping with her, just to be
Mhm.
like, yep, don't forget what's keeping him here.
And that
Yep.
was uncomfortable too. Just uncomfortable. Like the whole
They filmed it
situation.
perfectly for that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, any concept of them being sexual together is uncomfortable because it's not exactly consensual.
No.
Yeah. No, that would be, yeah.
She has no free will
It's as much consent
or
as a Roomba can give
limited
you.
limited free will, I guess, is, there are flashes where she's still herself, but for the most part, she's just obsessed. She's her whole life. I mean, to the point where you get later in the movie, and when she's fully under the wish, when Bear leaves to go to work, and he comes back, and she is exactly where she was when he left, having wet herself and vomited and just stuck in that spot. Like her being stopped existing for the hours that he was at work.
Right, because he told her to stay there.
Yeah.
He literally said to her, "Stay right there," and she took that seriously. And it makes me wonder though too, because he gives her directives throughout the movie, and she doesn't follow them nearly as literally as that. So that kind of bugged me a little bit as far as continuity is concerned, but
Mhm.
whatever.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I mean, there's that, but it does really more to me feel like she's by that point she can't function without him being around.
yeah.
Feel like
Yep.
that's as it continues, I'm presuming. It just gets worse and worse and it just multiplies. And I feel like, as we were saying, like she's in, or as he said, she's in this purgatory. So as the wish is continuing, she's just going to be out of existence, I feel, eventually.
Yeah,
Does that, if
maybe.
that makes sense? Like, just
I
like,
mean,
Like she's slowly eroding.
yep.
well,
Maybe.
yeah, I mean, I think it's at that point that you really recognize how poorly this is going to end for everybody involved.
Yeah.
There's no getting out from there.
There's
And it
no
doesn't
happy
seem as
ending.
though every wish is necessarily evil. When Ian wishes for $1 billion and it starts falling from his
Mhm.
ceiling,
Mm.
it doesn't seem as though like that was meant to be malicious.
So that's something that I've seen Curry Barker say, is that One Wish Willow is not implicitly evil. It's that how poorly Bear worded his wish.
Yeah,
Yep.
good point. And he screws it up big time. One of the things that annoys me the most about him is that he has an opportunity, and I think they did this on purpose. In the car, prior to snapping that One Wish Willow, Nikki asks him, "Do you like me?" And it looks like she's giving him an opening to sort of
Yeah,
get there.
that was an
And
opening, I think.
And it looks
yeah,
like she's
and she,
intending for it to be too.
I think she knows. I mean, when you find out later on that she and Ian have been doing it off and on for a couple of years, you sort of start to wonder how much else was going on with her and Ian. Did Ian tell her? Like, is she expecting this
Oh,
at
he
some
definitely
point?
did.
I
Definitely
mean, he
did.
seems like that kind of
Yeah.
guy.
And like she gives him a couple of signals there that like, go ahead and shoot your shot, man. She's like, well, if there was someone I liked, nobody would know. Like
Right.
that's sort of that coy, maybe, just directed disinterest, but and then, straight out, do you like me? And he doesn't take either opportunity.
But she pushes
Those are
Sarah.
signals that nice guys too never pick up on.
But she pushes Sarah on him though in that scene too, because she says that Sarah might like you.
Well, Sarah does like him, so that might
There
also be keeping
definitely
Nikki.
does like
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, and it's keeping Nikki from sort of getting there too. Maybe like I can't do that. My friend would be mad at me, kind of thing. This is a bit of a. These poor characters are tangled in a weird way.
But Sarah's also very well aware of how Bear feels about Nikki too.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure she would have been hurt by that. But I think she kind of would have been understanding that, hey, this is just what it is. This was what he wanted, not he didn't want me, which is what
Right.
Bear can't get past. Bear can't get past that. Well, maybe she doesn't like me. And then, he puts it in a situation where she can't not like him.
That makes sense. All right. So this kind of pushes Nikki into the sympathetic character area too, because we don't care about Bear, we don't care about Ian. Kind of care about Sarah. She's probably my
I
favorite
cared
character.
about that. I
in the movie.
liked Sarah too. Yeah. I liked Sarah a lot.
I mean, this might be a good time to bring up the NC-17 aspect. We definitely watched the NC-17 version of this film.
Yeah, we did.
And if you guys aren't aware that there are two versions, well, you'll find out if you watch what happens to Sarah.
That brick.
It's-
Yeah.
It's the brick
Sarah's-
is part of it, but
I
it's the 15 smashes of her face into the steering wheel to finish her off.
making her look like the crypt keeper. I'm just
That's the NC-17 version.
making her look like what really doubled for her in that scene, which is sex doll.
Oh, that makes sense. Because
So
how do
by
you crush the face that much?
yeah, by the end, that's really what the face looks like, is a deflated sex doll head. And like,
Yes,
again,
he can't do it bad.
now it becomes an issue for Bear to actually do something. But, he had previously called One Wish Willow and had been told, death.
Yep.
Or, contradict the wish, but it's death. This is till death.
Very interesting too, because he was like, I don't think he had an easy time processing any of this.
No.
no.
I guess it's not that easy to process either, but
I mean, when you think something's not going to happen and it does, I mean, it's a curveball.
true.
Especially when it's everything you want in every wrong possible way.
Before we get too far into the One Wish Willow, though, I want to wrap up Nikki. We realize that she's in there earlier than the bed scene. There's
Yeah.
glimpses of her earlier
Yes.
as
Yeah.
well. And we
There's
are
one
definitely
in-
aware she's in pain.
And there's one in the restaurant when he asks her about whether her dad really has cancer.
Yep.
And supposedly when she says no, that's real Nikki coming through.
Mhm.
Ooh, I didn't pick up on that. That's a good one.
But
That restaurant
there's-
scene, man, that
Is-
gave me PTSD.
Is that the one with the?
people making a scene?
Oh, that.
Look at them.
Okay. That's not
Yeah, I
the
don't know
model
if you guys
scene,
have been
right?
Through that. No,
Okay,
No.
that's
no,
later.
no. That's different. This isn't violent. All the stuff she does that's not violence is stuff that freaked me out.
Yeah. Yeah, she that her non-violent reactions are way worse than the violence.
Hyper needy, clingy thing that she
Mhm.
does is really like, super scary. Super scary.
I never experienced that, so I mean, like the reality of seeing it from like an outsider's point of view, the reality is scary. But I feel like if you were a part of it, you're gonna have some PTSD moments. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
run. Yeah, run. No, it's just she tapped into something that a lot of people will identify with from both sides. I'm sure there are people who were they were younger, they behaved that way with a few different people too, and they look back and they're cringy, sort of
Mhm.
look back on it. But she nails that, and then when they blend that into the weird, and then they blend the weird into the psychotic. That's kind of where this movie shines.
Yeah.
And Nikki, the actress who plays Nikki, without her, I don't think you pull any of that off.
No, she's
I'm gonna name her
incredible in this role. Indy Navarrete.
It is
Indy and
Hindi.
Aber.
Okay.
Indy.
Indy is
Yeah.
such a cool name.
Mhm.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
She's really good in this. She's probably the strongest performance. Probably not even probably, easily the strongest performance in this.
I don't know. Andy Richter did a pretty good job.
Was he the
Huh?
center of the universe?
He was the center of the
So
record store.
so that was supposed to be played by the guy who actually owns the music store, but he didn't want to say the curse and asked if they could change the line, and Curry Barker told him no. So they
Wah,
had to
wah, wah.
cast an actual actor.
What was the curse? The specific curse?
I don't remember what it was, but it's just
Interesting.
the
It couldn't have
guy.
been that
I
bad.
guess I guess he's the guy who doesn't curse. So
That's
I don't remember
understandable.
it. Oh, dude.
That's
Come off it.
understandable.
no, people who don't curse bother me.
Yes. It's a word, man. It's a word.
It is. It's
Like
As long as it
if
doesn't come
you
out of the Necronomicon,
the necro.
it's
Hey,
fine.
hey, don't mess with the
I'm sorry,
Necronomicon.
I stole it from me. Copyright.
It's like noir.
No, yeah,
Mm.
nah, that's all you. We're gonna keep
Noir.
that forever.
Noir.
Wah!
It's like Christopher Walken adjacent, but not cool.
And it's also a little Bruce Lee too.
Noir.
No.
Noir.
I
Noir.
guess it's a good opportunity for us to segue into because the most interesting part of the movie is the One Wish Willow, because that's the stuff you can keep talking about. We realize that Bear goes and buys two more.
Yes.
Yeah, he buys the last two.
He gets the last two, which is smart. When they're still the price point of them, by the way, is hilarious. That they're just out there for $6.99 or something. He gets the
Mhm.
last two. Ian obviously wastes one because he's dumbass.
Mhm.
And
He
Well,
then
doesn't believe him.
he wastes it because he does. Like, how ridiculous is this story that Bear is coming to him with after, however
covered
much
in
time has
blood.
elapsed? Yeah,
And
covered in blood.
And
And
I would
like,
probably talk to him a little bit more closely than just being like, dude, what's wrong? Sort of thing.
mhm.
I would snap the thing and be like, I wish for your wish to not be a wish anymore. And then, it wouldn't hurt anything.
I don't know. I might snap it and wish that the cops were here to handle this situation.
That would be hilarious. I wonder what happened when they went to his house eventually and saw the $1 billion in his living room. Like, how do you even explain that? There's
How do
no
you,
way to explain that.
there are two houses that things are going to be very difficult to explain in.
Yeah, you'd have to burn most of that because you can't use it. You'd have to launder it. The government would wonder where you got $1 billion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
actually
tax
we could
write-off.
talk
I
about that.
wish
We could Patreon that one.
the tax complications around wishing for $1 billion and receiving it. That's
You'd have to word
yeah,
it perfectly. Give me a multinational conglomerate corporation that brings in. You'd have to really word it properly.
Tax-free
man.
billion.
But the One Wish Willow could pull it off if you worded it properly. That's insinuated,
Yep.
if not outright stated. One Wish Willow creeps me out for a couple reasons. One Wish Willow, as we already said, is not inherently evil. the owner of the shop that sells them is fully aware of what they do.
Yes.
Use that wish, and he still works in his shop, which is another interesting thing. So he didn't wish for grand wealth or anything. I wonder what he wished for. But he's also very cavalier about what looks
Yeah.
like Bear's problem looks like a very significant one. And he's very cavalier about it. He's like, wow, what'd you wish for? And then there's
Yeah.
also this scary voice when he calls the One Wish Willow hotline, and also hearing Nikki screaming in the background tells you that that's not in our plane of existence that
No.
he's reached out to.
Mhm.
That's kind of cool.
And that voice on the phone is Curry Barker.
Which is kind of neat. That is kind of neat. So what is the One Wish Willow? And do you think it will spur on a sequel to this film?
I mean, it could.
It can.
It won't be his next movie. His next movie, I don't remember what it's going to be
Anything
called,
but ghosts.
Okay, yeah. And it's going to be in this universe,
Ooh.
Okay.
but it's not because I guess there's going to be like a part in that where the TV is on and there's a news report about the end of Obsession.
Okay. That's cool.
Oh, that actually might be helpful. I'd like to know a little bit more about what happens to Nikki after they find the many murders that have taken place.
Maybe an unofficial trilogy or a sequel.
Maybe.
I know he's going to do a reboot too. You didn't hear about that?
What's he rebooting?
It was on our Slasher Stash tonight. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No way! Don't do that.
I don't know
dude.
I don't think
He's
I
had
don't want him to
talks.
do that yet.
He's had talks. He's had interest, and he wants to.
Yeah,
I
doesn't mean
mean,
it's a good idea. No, we don't need
Yeah,
that again. Every time they do that, it's like, eh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's build your own stuff first and go from there. Because
We
he's
don't
really
need more reboots. We're moving away from them finally too. Sorry to step on you, John, and I'd like to keep moving away from them.
Yeah. But Curry Barker with Obsession has really positioned himself to do what he wants to do and do original things for a while now.
agreed.
With how successful this is, $800,000 budget. The
Yeah, that's cool.
the company bought it for $15 million. It's made more than Sinners now. It's over $250 million in the US. Like, so he's put himself immediately in a spot where he doesn't have to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He doesn't have to do somebody else's property. I would be more interested in him going back to his own shorts and expanding those than to see him reboot an existing property.
I agree with that. But
I don't know if either of you guys watched any of his other stuff, any of the shorts. I watched 2 of them today. The Chair, I really, really liked. I would definitely recommend
Chair is
hopping on
fantastic.
YouTube and watching The Chair. The other one, Milk and Cereal, I didn't like as much. It's found footage, so that's a strike against it. Found footage is a tough sell for me. His creative partner is Cooper Tomlinson, who plays Ian. And you can see Tomlinson's a little limited as an actor still. I think he can grow into something. And Curry Barker's not a particularly good actor either. And they're the 2 stars of Milk and Cereal.
okay.
And I think that's kind of another way it falls flat for me is they're just not great at it.
The costume's
The
cool,
stories,
though.
the story's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things around Milk and Cereal. I'd be interested in seeing him redo that with, the level cast he had for Obsession.
Yeah,
Fair.
fair enough.
Costume was cool though. The main killer wears from what I've seen because I put it on my list to watch because the mask and the outfit got my attention.
Cool.
I would definitely do The Chair first. The Chair's
good
to me significantly better.
But it's also
scarier,
good in the way Obsession is good too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You get
Yep.
into the domicile, and they make that unsafe, and that it gets everybody kind of on their heels. So the chair is weird, though. It's good and weird.
It is. Yeah, it probably will take a few watches to fully figure out. There's some weird jumps in it and some stuff that's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, don't
Wait,
look up like all the beats and get explanations. Watch it and figure it out for yourself. That's definitely it.
yeah,
Me and my mustache will
definitely,
enjoy it.
definitely,
Hey, we got
definitely.
reviews. I give 1.5 stars to your mustache.
That's a lie, you know it. It's a lie.
So do you
You said
do you
that
want
with
to
such
do you want to
confidence.
do you want to quickly cover the end of Obsession before we jump to reviews?
Yes.
Let's cover the bottom of Mr. Yeah, we can cover the end of the movie. Let's do it, John.
So
Damn it.
he comes back home with his one remaining one wish willow that he
Yep.
gives to Nikki, and Nikki's really freaking out still, and it's really bad. She's full freaky Nikki now. And Bear decides finally there's one real way to end this. And he goes in the bathroom and he drops he puts down his bottle of oxys.
Yeah.
But even in that, he's unsure and incapable because he almost immediately tries to make himself vomit.
Right. Well, he also attempted a much more grisly way to do it earlier
Yes.
with
Yes.
another
Yeah.
item, and you
Yes.
watch that, and then he's like, "I'm not doing that," and then he goes for the easier route and
Mhm.
tries to puke, and then snaps out of it.
Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah, snaps out of
snaps
it
out of it.
Exactly.
because Nikki has broken the last one wish willow. And I mean, really at the end of it's not the wish he wanted her to make, but it's the wish that would make this all make sense for both of them.
Yep.
She wishes for him to feel the same way about her.
And they probably would
he
have managed
coming-
a way to go on with life that way.
Well, I mean, you're
Going to work
already
and
on
stuff
double
would've been
murder at
tricky.
that point.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah.
You're also on a double murder at that point that someone's got to go down for.
Yeah, and they're gonna go to them.
Well,
Because she's also off Ian by now too
in their house, in their
in
apartment.
the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
Doesn't
there's
he-
two bodies,
Yeah.
two bodies, and a soon to be overdosed bear because he did not successfully make himself vomit, and they have one kiss together before as completely obsessed with one another before Bear falls and dies.
and then
In his death,
she wakes up.
she wakes up
and will likely
the
face
horror.
all of the consequences.
to
Now she
the
might be able to
horror.
spin a story that Bear did all of it and then took the easy way out. She might get away with that, but there's so many people who will attest to seeing her act like a psychopath. For
Yeah.
multiple, like in the bar and things like that.
This case is a
However,
different-
she had the bashing her head at the party, a whole bunch. She could go that route with it. She could definitely. There's the insanity plea is also probably on the table.
Right.
I would imagine. I don't know what level of her becomes conscious of how she got to that point, but if you have a good defense attorney, maybe they introduce a one wish willow.
Maybe.
That
That would be nice.
Judge snap and whatever and make somebody in the courtroom that way.
Could work.
Could
But
work.
yeah. She's
she's gonna need a really good attorney.
Bear really screwed her over is the moral of the story here, kids.
Yeah, they did. It's not a happy ending, and I mean, but it's a movie that I feel we need these movies in circulation. Those movies where it's like, oh man, this is a rough ending, but it like brings the audience to a realization that life's not always, happy. There's always
Life
not the
doesn't
good
always-
ending.
Find a way.
Yeah, life's a box of chocolates.
Yeah. Let's get some reviews, guys.
Yeah, let's do it. So we'll start out Rotten Tomatoes, 94% critics, 94% audience.
Outright.
Very
What I
high.
expected. Yeah, very high.
So we'll start where we always start with 5 stars. 5 stars for Obsession. Welp, Barker is now on my list of directors, screenwriters to watch. I'm a horror buff and had low expectations. I was so wrong. This was one of the more viscerally intense horror movies that challenged what I expected at every turn. It's unpredictable, strangely funny at times, and unusually frightening at moments where most other movies would mail it in. I put this in my top 10 all time, maybe higher. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, this resonated with people. And
Yeah,
I
it
think that's
has.
because of the young relationship stuff. People remembering their young relationships and people in them.
Yep. Yep. I'll talk a little more about that when we get to my opinion, but I also have 3 low reviews. I usually only do 2, but I found a 1 star that I had to include.
Oh,
1
boy.
star for Obsession. I wasn't informed that I need to bring my ID to watch the movie. The staff scanned my ticket prior to asking for it, so I wasn't able to get a refund or an exchange for my tickets. I wasted $31 for nothing.
$31.
What the hell? That's one of those I'm leaving here with something moments, like Denzel
IMAX.
Washington style. If they did that to me, I'm going to the concession stand and grabbing 12 boxes of candy and leaving.
This would be my falling down moment.
Yep. Nope. That ain't happening. I'm not walking out of a theater with that. Nope.
I'm also not going on Rotten Tomatoes and reviewing the movie.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's
All
dumb.
right.
Now
Well,
we
it seems
got
like this
dialogue.
person isn't operating with a full deck either, right?
No, I mean, listen, it's should be pretty standard to understand if you look like you're a certain age, you should bring your ID when you're gonna do things that require age verification.
Sure.
I don't have to worry about these things anymore.
No, nor do I. What about you, Bull?
Nor Bull doesn't have to. Not especially not when he's Bull.
Yeah, just bring it over the top, buddy.
I'm ready.
All
Where's my
right.
hat?
Let's hear another one, John.
Yes, 1 star. I cannot
Oh.
remember the last time I watched such a predictable movie. Absolute bore. I don't understand why anyone would think this was good. 0 twists. Nothing unique and ridiculously stupid main plot point. Did you spend so little on the movie because you had to use most of the budget to pay for positive reviews? Acting was great though.
I mean, so yeah, that's a good thing to end on
Yeah.
because it doesn't have to have a twist. It does, and that's what like M. Night Shyamalan's career fell apart on.
No.
You don't have to have a
No.
gimmick.
No.
This thing
No.
shined in the small work.
Mm-hmm. And one last, because we had to get the half star too.
No
So
way.
half a star for Obsession.
No.
Thumbs down.
Ooh.
It's another recycled storyline filled with the predictable shock moments. The actors do well performing their roles, so credit goes to them. I don't know where the critics are claiming this film to be a unique approach because its substance is too predictable and rehashed from other storylines. Again, the actors do their parts very well, but I personally cannot recommend this dumpster fire waste of time and money.
I mean, I understand why it's a half star. I mean, they went pretty heavy with it. Dumpster fire's a little. That's over the line, sir or
Not one
madam.
of these was
I
about
mean,
the cat.
Yeah. Like I
No,
kind like so we've heard
John.
what other people think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's hear what we have to think.
What do you guys have to say?
Let's go Ryan first this time.
Well, I had a hard time with it because originally I was going between a 3.5 to a 4, but I'm gonna stick with a 3.75. I like the movie. I like how it's filmed. I like the story. I like the acting. I love how Indy performs Nikki. I like the actor who performs Bear, but I don't like Bear, and it's really why I'm really stuck at a 3.75. She had to really push me up because she was like, the story was good, the film, and I said, yeah, it's good, but I hate that character so much.
He was written that way.
I
He was
know
written
that's
for
what
you to
makes
hate him.
that's what makes me like you feel it.
That means they did a good job.
They
They did such a
did,
good
yeah.
job. You
but I'm
dropped their
yeah.
score.
I'm still
This is-
staying at 3.75.
This isn't one where you were supposed to hate. You were supposed to like him, and you wound up hating him.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to like him.
We got to clip that out. I want to see people throw hate at that on the Instagram. There we go.
Well,
I'm going to push mine up to 4.25, and it only drops from a 4.5 because of the dumb cat. They didn't need to do any of that with the cat. It's not a perfect movie. It's not a super deep movie. It's deep enough to make you think, though, and that's like one of my to be over a 4. I have to be thinking. It can't just be an action dweeb thing. But it's not overly
Mhm.
complicated. It shines in, like I said, the small work earlier because they put the effort into the right parts of the movie to make it good. It really do.
Mhm.
It's the Nikki aspect of it that really kills it, but it's also Bear. I hate Bear too, but I'm bringing my score up because I hate Bear. That like kept
Yeah.
me invested. I was so mad at him throughout the whole movie. Even Ian, I really hated Ian. But just it's an
Mhm.
enjoyable movie, and it's been a long time since I saw a movie that was this good at being a horror movie that was this enjoyable.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna ultimately split the difference between you guys, and I'm gonna land at a 4. It would probably be a 4.5 for me, but there's a half point deduction for the cat. I think that has to be accounted for. Um, and this was there was so much set up for me to not like Obsession. And I told Allison before I started, I am dreading watching this because I don't think I'm going to like it because you start with the level of hype
Yeah.
and how often across genres that falls flat for me. And then the Blumhouse label on it, always an issue for me.
Oddly enough, that didn't wreck it for me.
No,
Because
Mhm.
I've been
And
pretty
then
anti Blumhouse too lately.
seeing it in like, oh, it's everybody's favorite movie of the year. It's the best movie of the year across genres. And I haven't seen enough to tell you exactly where Obsession would land for me. I know it doesn't land one
Yeah.
because it didn't get past Bone Temple for me. But I like what he did. I like what Curry Barker did a lot.
yep,
I like, okay, it's not the most inventive story. There's all sorts of horror movies with wishes in them,
yep,
but it's the story works enough. The performances are stellar. In a world where horror is properly
A world.
appreciated, Indian Everett should at least be considered for awards next year. Like
yeah,
that to me, that's an award worthy performance.
agreed.
That's where it shines. It shines in these performances and creating characters that you care about one way or another. Because I hate Bear as much as you guys do, but I cared that I hated him. Like, it's not just some throwaway, I don't like this guy, whatever. Like I cared that I didn't like this guy and I really thought about why I didn't like him. And I really liked Nikki. I really felt for Nikki as this gets deeper. So yeah, this is a 4.
Nice.
I
Not bad
feel
overall.
I was gonna say to sum it up, like it's one of those films that I feel like if you love horror, you should at least watch it once. It's a watchable film
Absolutely.
Oh,
to
it's
feel
that's
like,
an
yeah,
absolute,
Yeah.
yeah. You
like
have to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
end.
tune the hype out. Go in as blind as you can,
yep,
which I mean is kind of a wasted statement after we've advised everyone to not listen right now,
Right.
if you haven't.
I
But
doubt people will listen to this without seeing it though. A lot of people have seen
yeah,
this movie.
yeah, a lot of
yeah,
people.
but know as little as possible. And you know, if you're someone like me who's gonna be bothered by the cat, gut through it.
Through it.
Yep.
Good way to think
Gut
of it.
through it.
But all right, guys, you know what time it is.
Oh, it's time for top fives.
Yeah, your
Top
modified top
fives.
five, I believe.
Top
Now
fives.
that
Hold on, I
John's ruined your life.
got some
Ah,
no cards here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Freaking Jordan Peele got rid of, and what you leaving us? It's messed up. You know, l- got rid of Jordan Peele, so it was us. I was really excited to talk about us tonight, but I'm going top five comedy to horror director since Curry Baker got his start directing and writing for a sketch comedy that he created on YouTube called That's a Bad Idea. And we're going to start off with Danny and Michael Philippou. Philippou? Ooh,
I
Filippo?
think that's ballpark. Yeah,
Ballpark?
Philippou, I think.
Yep, they're
Philippou.
okay, I was a little nervous on that. They're twins who have directed comedy, horror, and parodies on YouTube, part of their channel called Raka Raka. And they
Mhm.
directed one of my favorite horror films that I can't wait to cover one day, and that's Bring Her Back. That's my number 5. Follows two step siblings who find themselves orphaned and placed in the middle of an occult ritual by their new foster mother. I love this film. We're gonna watch it one day. I can't wait for Kearns to have this watch again. It's just a good time. A lot of things getting eaten.
Yeah, it's a riot.
Half
Laugh a minute.
half the time. And this leads to my number 4, which would have been for us, but that doesn't exist anymore. And I followed the rules. Once it's deleted, it doesn't exist anymore. And I switched to Zach Kreger. We've covered a couple of his movies this year. He was formerly on a sketch comedy show as a writer, I believe director too of The Whitest Kids You Know. I know he acted, he wrote, I think he directed a couple, and I'm not gonna mention Weapons, even though I love Weapons, but I love Barbarian more. The story following a woman who rents a house in Airbnb and discovers a dark secret inside. It stars Georgina Campbell, Justin Long, and of course our favorite resident actor, Bill Skarsgård. It's a hoot. Watch our episode. It's just a really good film, and he follows up with Weapons, but Barbarian is really where he initializes his horror roots, in my opinion. And then we get to number 3. Uh, I've never mentioned this. I feel like I've mentioned this, or we have mentioned it in the past, but I'm gonna bring it down to John Krasinski, which his fame is The Office, and he's directed quite a few horror films, being A Quiet Place. The start of that franchise,
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic, based on the story of him and technically his wife, Emily Blunt, his real life wife, plays his wife in the film, and they
Mhm.
survive during a post apocalyptic world inhabited by blind extraterrestrial creatures with an acute sense of hearing. The opening scene will always get me with the kid turning on the truck and always the nail when she gets. Yeah. If you've never seen A Quiet Place, it's an awesome film. It was actually filmed a little bit in Pauling, which was
Mhm.
cool. So it's like, if you're from the area, the Hudson Valley area and all
None of
that,
us are, by the way. We all live in Arizona.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If you're in the Hudson Valley area,
Tucson.
it's cool to experience, right? He comes back after I mentioned Bring Her Back. I love it. That was my number
I
5.
was close enough to hear some of that.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't need to reference it, buddy, by the way, because
Yeah,
we're not on camera when you're reading these,
it's
when you're doing these.
we hear our echoes just like Nikki in Purgatory, but that leads to my number 2. We're talking about David Gordon Green. David Gordon Green has directed comedy films known Pineapple Express, Your Highness, The Sitter, big films during 2008 to 2011 comedy college era. But he takes it one step up with in 2018 with Danny McBride as he writes the sequel to Halloween. And the 2018 version, I mean, picks up right after the first one, the 1978 one. It's not the idea of the cult of the thorn. It's the idea of the babysitter. Lori's just a random person that Michael went after. And it's an interesting twist because we focus so much on the idea of that Lori's his sister and the Myers curse that it takes it back to the base roots. And I love that McBride and Green did that along with Jeff Fradley, who also co-wrote. And that leads to my number 1 from comedy to horror. This is an interesting one. I'm just going to give the title, and that's The Exorcist, because William Peter Blatty originally wrote comedy novels, John Goldfarb, Please Come Home, and I, Billy Shakespeare, and co-wrote A Shot in the Dark before he jumped into The Exorcist. The two books I looked up, they're pretty funny for the time they were released, but writing A Shot in the Dark, which is the sequel to The Pink Panther, I mean, you go from that and then write The Exorcist. Well done, sir.
Mhm.
Imagine if Inspector Clouseau was in The Exorcist, though.
Be kind of neat.
Just, but that's my top 5 comedy to horror and directors. So, but John, I'm curious, is your top 5 with wishes?
It is.
Ooh, I'm curious because
It
I was
is
trying to do something, but I don't have enough.
my top 5 is wishes gone wrong.
Ooh.
We'll start out with number 5. And number 5 is The Gate 2, trespassers. So teens summon a demon, which is willing to grant them some wishes. Terrence wishes for his father to not be an alcoholic and to be a functional adult. And when it seemingly works, the teens start making more wishes, but the demonic minion has other plans for them and bites 2 of the teens, turning them into demons too. And things just spiral from there. My number 4 is the sequel to a movie that we've done previously, and it's Leprechaun 2.
Nice.
I was
Yep.
curious if you were going to do 2 or 3, because there is wishes
went
in
with
3 too.
I went with 2 in order to escape the cast iron safe he has been imprisoned in. Leprechaun grants 3 wishes to a man with devastating consequences. His first wish is for gold, which manifests inside of him. And from there, things only get worse. Then the leprechaun goes on the hunt for his intended bride. And, a typical leprechaun insanity ensues, and Warwick Davis is Warwick Davising all over the place. Number 3 is a movie I've definitely put on the top 5 before, but it works here even better, and that's Wishmaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
When a long imprisoned djinn is accidentally awakened and released, it goes on a spree, granting wishes in a twisted fashion. Think a woman being turned into a mannequin after wishing to be beautiful forever. Falls to a young gemologist to stop the djinn and prevent him from granting more wishes. And Wishmaster, I said the last time I talked about, has such a great cast of horror icons littered throughout it. Wishmaster's a lot of fun. My number 2, not to be confused with the TV series or the 2 90s movies, it's 1972's Tales from the Crypt. And it's an anthology movie. So what we're focusing on here is the segment called Wish You Were Here. So in this segment, Enid and Ralph realize their Chinese figurine will grant them 3 wishes. What they don't realize is every wish comes with a tragic consequence. Money, Ralph dies in a car crash, and then the remaining wishes only make things worse.
Is it a good film? Out of curiosity.
I mean, it's like most anthologies. There's some really good segments and some that are kind of not so good, but it's worth a watch.
I was gonna say it was because of the whole just to piggyback real quick, when they did comics back in the 30s and 40s and they did a lot of horror comics, it was either Tales from the Crypt or Vault of Horror. There was others, but those 2 are the main ones. And Tales from the Crypt was actually the first anthology movie, I think. And then when Creepshow came out in 1980, which they did a lot of their own stories and stuff based on those comic books, it really got that push. Just cool stuff.
Yeah. So my number 1 is another anthology movie. So we're going to be focused on one segment in that. And my number 1 is The ABCs of Death Part 2.
Nice.
And we're looking at the segment called W is for Wish. So in W is for Wish, a boy wishes to fight alongside a He-Man-like action figure who he and his buddies idolize. And they're transported to that world, only to find out it's not like it is on TV. They think they're going to go fight heroic battles by the side of Prince Cassio, only for one boy to wind up being literally fried by the evil Zorb, while the other one winds up chained in a dungeon with a strangely pudgy fantasy man.
Ew.
Very
I don't
Game
like
of
the sound
Thrones
at
there.
all. I don't like the sound of that at all.
The 2 ABCs of Death movies with their 26 and 26 segments probably are equal about one good movie. This is one of the segments that's really awesome. Definitely recommend, because I mean, they're all short, the segments. You can,
About 2 minutes, 5
it's a
minutes
fun
long,
one.
right?
Yeah, 2 to 5 minutes. A lot of
Did
current
they
directors got their start in there.
didn't they do something similar, or am I thinking the same thing when they did the Vault of Horror? Is that the same thing with
Oh.
the alphabet of horror or something?
Probably, yeah. I don't think it's a like a completely original concept, but what they did is bring in a whole bunch of indie filmmakers, and
That's cool.
really helped a lot of careers, I think.
See, I like that.
That's cool. I like that too.
Yeah, so that's 5 wishes gone wrong.
Right. Wow, that's 2 good top 5s tonight, gentlemen, and 1 good movie
Thank you.
and 1
Absolutely.
mediocre mustache.
I'll take it.
We like the look, Ryan. I'm done messing with you for this episode anyway. All right, guys. We're getting out of here.
Have a good one. Keep on writing.
See ya.
It's the mustache. What?
Did you say keep on writing or keep on riding?
Writing.
I think
It's
it
the
sounded like he
mustache.
said writing, but he said riding. All right, we're out of here. Bye, everybody.
Which-
You ruined the sign off tonight, Ryan. Your face.
See ya.
Be very